What's up, everybody? Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. I want to talk about it's kind of sensitive, I think, to all of us who are adults, parents, have been teenagers. I think we can all, in some way, relate to this story. That if you are on Facebook at all or social media, you probably have seen the incident where a young man, 18 years old, stole a vehicle. And as the police was pursuing him and him running away, allegedly he had a weapon in his hand and pointed it at the authorities. Black, young black, this man, 18, young black boy man, stole a vehicle, and as he was in pursuit on foot, he allegedly raised a weapon, to which the officer put him down with his own weapon and sent him into the eternities. Well, when his father, the young man's father, saw the video from the body cam of this shooting, they say people that was there say that they could tell that he began to change. He was different. And I believe a few days later or something, the situation is, some of those details kind of sketchy, but not long after, he got in his car and ran over another deputy officer who was totally unrelated to the case at all. It had nothing to do with the situation, and sent him into the eternities. And on Facebook, and this is where I saw it, and of course I go to the comment section because I want to see what human human nature is saying about these type situations. I just like to see not necessarily the bickering, but it's just interesting to watch how people perceive and go about how they come up with their opinion. So of course, a lot of people is taking the stand that there was no firearm on the young man at all, and that it was planted by officers or the officer later on, which if that's true, the body cam would show that the father already seen. So if that's true at all, we'll know because other people have already seen the video. And of course, some saying that there was no weapon at all. Obviously, they blurred out that part. Blah blah blah. I'm just saying people have seen the actual video on both sides, on the family side and the law enforcement side. So whatever that will come out. But you have that incident, and then you have the father looking like he had a moment of insanity where he runs over and unalives another officer. I guess we would say in the name of justice or just anger or just whatever word people don't want to put on it. So I wanted to talk about it to just see where my audience or those that will watch it, what y'all think. Me personally, me personally, and this, like I said, this is kind of a touchy subject because in Black America, we have seen situations where law enforcement have overstepped. You know, he stole a vehicle, But let's just say there was really no firearm involved, and that part is a lie, which would be the assumption, obviously, of most people until they hear otherwise. Most people are going to say, "Oh, there was no firearm. The officer's lying. He took an innocent life." Well, if you take that, then we are used to seeing that and tired of that, because a stolen vehicle with no firearm display should not result in taking of a life. I think no matter what color the person is, this ain't even about race. It's just, to me, this ain't even about race in terms of the breaking of the law, if that makes sense. So a black kid, he's happened to be black, stole a vehicle. A white kid stole a vehicle too. So to me, this ain't about race. But if he was put down and lied, if there was a lie told, then we're starting to see a lot of injustice, which is what a lot of people are tired of. So you have that angle. Then if he really did have a firearm and he really did raise it to the police officer, now we're in a different position, because officer has a right to not only defend himself but any of the lives that are around, and to get rid of the threat. So if that happened, then you have that situation. The father obviously seen how the ending was for his son, and it was enough. That's the part where I guess I look at it as a father. I have a 17-year-old son. This man's son was 18 years old. As a father, if I'm watching the video of the final moments of my son's life, and this is just as a father, right? This is just me. Unless he was deliberately trying to take somebody out, I would not want to see my son taken out. And I think most people feel that way. Now, if my son was on top of somebody or blasting off or doing something like that, it will hurt, but I would say, okay, there's a battle going on here, and my son got the worst part of it. But if there was no battle, if there was no struggle, if he really didn't have nothing in his hand, if he didn't raise that thing up, and I see this ammo ripping into him and him going down, that's going to do something. That's going to do something to, I think, any parent, black or white. I think it's going to do something. Don't matter the race in this situation. I think it's going to do something to any parent to see your child go down for any reason. I think it's going to stir us up. Should he have gotten in his vehicle and ran over an innocent person? That becomes the next issue. Some people say it's justice. They took the officer took his sons out. He took an officer out. That's what some people say. Some people, and if you're going for eye for an eye, I lean more towards, hypothetically, if the video, and this is what I'm saying, I'm just going to the story of what we know. If the video showed there was no weapon at all, I'm not, me as a father, I'm not going for innocent. I'm not just picking and choosing just because somebody was an officer. And I know it has, eye for an eye means you have to direct the attention back to the person that gave it to you, unless you're going innocent for innocent. So if you feel that your son was innocent, then you may choose an innocent. But again, I don't do innocent. I think it's bad karma to take innocent lives. That's just my opinion. I think that it's bad karma. I think that that's something, if you take an innocent life, to me, spiritually speaking, if for those of you that remember the scriptures, when Cain took his brother's life and the Lord told him, the blood of your innocent brother pretty much cries out to me from the ground. And from this day forward, men are going to seek you to take you out. That's what the Lord told Cain. To me, that's what taking innocent blood does. It puts something on you that you don't even know is there, that's going to, for whatever reason, men will always going to have a grievance with you, and you're always going to have a struggle. That's how I see it. So that's why I live by the rule of Coolio. I never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. If you deserve it, then that's one thing. But I don't do innocent lives. So that's my position. I'm not a fan of taking an innocent life. And again, I know that he moved in a moment of insanity, so he wasn't thinking all the way. His marbles wasn't lined up. I get it. But I'm just looking from, a peaceful side, me watching on video, able to make a content off of it and able to think straight and everything. I will hope that I would not move into just taking somebody out innocently. The family is already messed up, the family of the young boy, because that's already a devastating situation. He probably just graduated, from high school, either this year or last year. Everybody thought he had a bright future. That's obviously that has come to an end. And so you got all the mourning and the different things that go on with that, plus the court case that go on with that. And then another family now has become disrupted of just a man picking their father, husband, uncle, brother, and just, taking him down. So it's just developed a lot of tears that at the end of the day, and I'll get to that, could have been prevented. And so I want y'all again talk about it in the comments. Let me know how y'all kind of feel about it. The one thing though that I want to, well, I saw this in the comments too. A lot of people was coming down hard on the father of the young black man, of saying had he done a better job parenting, that his son would not have been in that situation. And it's easy to say that. However, I don't 100% agree with that statement. I feel that my parents raised me right. I feel that they raised me well. I think that they gave me all of the tools that I needed to succeed in life. And at 14 or 15 years old, I still chose to go the way of the streets. I don't think that you can control the actions of people. You can't be with them 100% of the time. You have to instill things in them and hope that they will remember, listen, and be obedient to what you put in them. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do and they don't get, sometimes they become disobedient, as I was, and not follow everything that you may have put in them, but through luck, chance, whatever, they don't get caught up in some big nonsense that could affect the rest of their life. That was my situation. I never got caught up in big nonsense where I got caught and it ended up changing my life. But just to say, if you have been a better father, this would not have happened, that would not have happened. I don't agree with that. I think that there are times that you can raise the children to the best of your ability, raise them in the church. You can do whatever you want. Send them to private school. You can keep them away from other kids. You can make them live in a bubble. I was raised with no television in the home, had to read all the time. All of these things. I got spankings for the different things that I did wrong. I got, grounded if I didn't have A's and B's or a good high C. I had to until the grades come up. I mean, they did everything to give me the best position or the best foot forward in life. And I still chose to do what I wanted to do against their will. So I don't necessarily agree that one. Now I do think that a lot of times we can look back to bad parenting, but we don't know the history of this young man. This could have been the first thing he's ever done in a moment of being a teenager and foolish, and we've all done foolish things, right? How many of us have done things when we were 17 and 18 years old that we just lived to tell the story about? How many have entertained certain drugs, maybe use needles that it's you what your homeboy got addicted. Your other homeboy got a disease that he couldn't get rid of. It started with an A back in the day from using infected needles and whatnot. The other homeboy became a junkie. Your other homegirl, she took herself out. Your other homegirl had 3 kids. Your other homegirl got a nasty disease. We've all done something that, we were 17. We've all, and especially as men growing up, different things. We've all took things that didn't belong to us. Maybe it wasn't a car, maybe it wasn't on that level, but we've all done something, and against the better judgment or the parenting of our parents. But with that being said, I want to wrap it up with this. At the end of the day, we just have to remember one thing: all of the back and forth, because it's going to be a lot of back and forth. Believe me, it's going to become even a race issue. It's going to become a white cop killing a black boy. The black boy didn't have a firearm. It's going to go back and forth. Then it's going to become a black man, a father, running over and taking out a white. That's what it's going to be. And in the midst of all of that boxing, Whatever the judge decides for this father, he's never gonna get his son back. The family's still gonna be tore up. Now he locked up at least for a while. Whatever the judge decides, maybe he get off insanity, maybe he do, a couple of years, get out, have to be on medicine the rest of his life. Who knows? But with all that aside, here is one thing that most people are not going to pay attention to, and this is what I try to teach my son when he started going out, hanging with friends, and doing different things, is that remember that your choices have consequences. This story would never even be in the paper. Forget the parenting skills. This dude's 18 years old now at this point. His dad, his mom, his uncle, his grandma have pretty much taught him verbally all that he was going to be taught at that point. He was free to move out, go do whatever he wanted to do. I don't know his story. I'm just saying 18, he free. Right? Class is over. This story would not even be a story if he had not chosen to take a vehicle that did not belong to him. And that's the part that everybody is going to overlook because lives have been taken. But at the end of the day, he will still be here. His dad will still be free. And a white cop will still be alive with his family. His dad will still be with his family. And the young boy will still be with his family had he simply not made a choice to take a vehicle that did not belong to him. Now, after he did that, it sent off a chain of events that is going to take a while to figure it out. I get it. Again, I'm not sticking up for any police officer that did wrong. I get it. Body cam will show it. The dad has seen it. He know. I'm sure the lawyers have seen it. They know. Okay, so let me be clear. I'm not defending injustice. All I'm saying is this party begins when somebody in a split second made a bad decision and then things begin to get out of hand. But let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Be good.